Hey everybody, hope you're having a great week so far. Happy Wednesday. And you know what that means? It is time for Spirit Wisdom Wednesday, where we gather here together in the healing space and allow some spirit wisdom to flow through. Now, if you are new to me, I welcome you here. I'm so excited that you've crossed paths with me. My name is Meredith Johnson with the Healing Hummingbird LLC.com. And this is my heart-centered business where I help healers and givers, or spiritual go-getters, reclaim their power, receive healing, and transform their lives in the way of the hummingbird, which involves a brave heart, lightness of being, and lots of sweet joy. So today, Spirit wants to talk about how to heed the call. And if you saw my post earlier, it was all of my judgment cards from all of my tarot decks, because that's the main message of that card for me, is heed the call. And for some reason, Spirit really wants to talk about this example of somebody coming to mind and not knowing what to do about it. So I don't know if that's happening to you or happening to a lot of people out here. So with that example in mind, I'm going to move down this list that Spirit gave me. And of course, as you know, they're here in the space with us, so they may just pop in and add some stuff. So they want you to know that Spirit can be tapping you on the shoulder for many reasons, but the first and most important thing to do is to notice the message and acknowledge that you've received it, because we don't want our spirit guides sitting around out here thinking, oh, she didn't receive that message, or oh, she must not be ready to take that step. And we definitely want to let them know, I have received this message. I'm just not sure what to do with it, but I'd love to take aligned action on it. And that's step number 2, is ask, what should I do if you're not sure? And now just keep in mind, because of the way Spirit is and the way that our monkey minds are, you could either get something right away, which is amazing, we love that, or you might get some silence, which is just kind of like, okay, well, I perceived this message and I don't know what to do with it, can you help me? And it may not be abundantly clear that you got the message, so you want to make sure to remind them again and say, I did get the initial message. We're going back to the example. I'm thinking of this person. Let's call the person June. I'm thinking of June and I don't know what to do. Why do you keep reminding me of her? And it might take them a couple days. So I would say give them 2 to 3 days. If you're not getting anything, sometimes one of the reasons they could be talking about someone is they could be giving you a heads up of something that's going to happen with them. So maybe they're just like, hold on a minute, you're going to cross paths and we're just giving you a heads up. Or you might hear from that person. But sometimes if you don't get anything super clear, and again, we're talking about a person, a lot of times Spirit will want you to turn inward. What does this person represent for me in my life? Is there a theme going on? Is there a pattern? Is there something here to be healed? That's always a great question to ask. What can I heal? How can I surrender to the will of Spirit, to the will of God? And let's see here. I have a different setup today because Mercury retrograde's hitting me real hard. So I'm like, I usually have my notes in a different place. Hold on a second. Okay, but let's say the answer is you're still not sure about it, but you're like, this message is driving me crazy. I know I have to do something and I don't know what it is. So Spirit wants to give you a little short list of things you can do if you find yourself in that position. A lot of times it's just take a step. Take a step, reach out, even if it's just saying, hey, how are you doing? Been thinking about you. Or it might feel awkward if it's someone you haven't talked to in a long time, but we want to trust that Spirit has tapped us on the shoulder and connected us to this person for a divine reason. And so trusting in the unknown is a huge part of this. So if you remember someone from like 10 years ago, and you don't even know how to really get a hold of them, you could just set the intention of connecting with them spiritually. And a lot of times that's enough to get it going. You know, you're showing up for spirit and for the universe. And when you do that, the universe and your spirit guides always show up for you in return. So just saying, with my example of the Lady June, if she keeps coming to mind, I've received this message, I'm intending to connect with June for the highest good of all. That's another phrase that they always like to include, just to make sure the vibration is super, super high. And that demonstrates a lack of attachment. It's like holding on, a lack of attachment to the outcome, which is another demonstration of trust in the unknown and trust in spirit. And okay, a couple other things, if someone's on your mind and you can't get them off your mind, of what spirit might be asking you to do, is you may be being called to have an honest conversation with this person. And it may feel like, well, dang, I'm the only one who's willing to tell the truth. That might be the case. That might be why spirit is tapping you on the shoulder and saying, you know, this isn't meant to be played out in such a painful way. Would you mind stepping in, serving spirit, serving the universe, serving God, and pumping some divine inspiration and love into this connection so that it can be concluded in a peaceful and healthy way? And sometimes if it's not all that, if all that sounds like way too dramatic for your situation, sometimes it's just offering love and support to someone. Even if it's just, I'm going to send someone a text and say, oh, I was watering my plants the other day and I thought of you. How are you doing? You know, that could be enough. And Spirit's also saying that one of the reasons they can make you think of someone or tap you, it's like the person's knocking on your door and you're like, why am I thinking of this person? Sometimes what that means is that person is calling out spiritually and praying and saying, I need help. I need to know that I'm not alone. Are you there? Is anyone there? And if you receive the knock, Spirit saying, okay, this person gets it. I can ask them to reach out to them. So if you think about it that way, that really means you are dialed in, you're in the flow. And so the bottom line, besides trusting in the unknown and trusting spirit to help you with the next step, even if you don't know what the next step is going to be, know that they're going to be there to catch you and guide you through those next steps. And let's see, gosh, this Mercury retrograde, is this affecting you guys too? I keep like losing my train of thought. But there must be a lot of energy in here today. I was like extra excited getting ready. So somebody's spirit guides are here with big spirit energy, big spirit energy. But yeah, just keep in mind, if you can't quite figure out what it is you're supposed to do or why, that's not really the most important thing. The fact that you are receiving the message and acknowledging it and saying, I'm in alignment with spirit and I want to do what's best with everyone. That's amazing. That's all you really have to do. And spirit's going to take care of the rest. So just know that if you have someone knocking on your door or a message that's confusing you, just know that you are in alignment, and the fact that you're receiving it is a confirmation that you are in synchronicity, in alignment with the universe, which is always a beautiful confirmation. So I know that was kind of a lot. There was like a vast array of messages. I feel like I'm already doing readings, but if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Let me just check in here. Hi, Dawn, Janice, and Lola. So great to see you live. Okay, so we're going to go ahead with our week ahead readings. We have some interesting, different objects to pick from this week that are really exciting. So first, before I show you what those are, I'll invite you to tap into your heart space with me. We'll just take a deep breath in and a smooth, slow exhale out. Invite your guides to come in around you and ask which group holds my message for the week ahead. Now keep in mind, you may receive this answer in a few different ways. You may see a number, you may just know it's 1, 2, or 3. You may hear a number, or you may feel very drawn to one of these objects I'm about to show you. Okay, so this is group number 1. We have these mini paintings here. Group number 2. I don't know if you can see the sheen, that's all gold right there. And group number 3, I've never shown anybody this painting before, but Spirit was like, this one. So this is group number 3. Okay, now that you know what group you are in, let's start with group number 1. If you felt drawn to this painting here with red as the main color, let's get your week ahead message. All right, Spirit, so for group number 1, what do they need to know for their highest good for the week ahead? For group number 1, Spirit. Okay. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Okay. Group number 1, you must be super aligned with the energies of the universe right now. Wait until you see card number 3. The first one you got is Justice. You have the Queen of Wands and Judgment. Remember, this is Heed the Call. So let me look at these 3 together. I also have some animal spirit cards. Something interesting happened with those yesterday, and I'll let you know about that. Okay, group number 1. They're talking about something coming into balance. And they're talking about being seen, allowing yourself to be seen. And Spirit is saying, you've been such a beautiful little seed in the ground for so long, and it's time to let the sun shine onto you so that you can sprout and germinate and grow. What a beautiful message. They're also talking about communication style and to stay grounded and to make sure that you are checking in and you're feeling really balanced before you're responding to people. And that instead of like reacting, you want to take time and respond to people. And they're talking about your aura, group number 1, having this beautiful golden glow around it. And it feels really good. You must be like a really warm person, really charismatic, someone that people really love to be around. And Spirit's saying, really embrace that, like live that up. And then with Heeding the Call over here, they're saying that will be clarified by your animal message. Ooh. I feel like you're really cheeky, group number 1. You're like, I love that kind of sassy energy that you have. Oh, with the animal oracle, this is so bizarre. So I was taking my cards out for a reading yesterday, and I dropped my purse on the ground, but it didn't open. And I dropped it right by my car. And so I just picked it up and tossed it in my car. And then I felt the car go whoomp, and I ran for real. I ran over this deck of cards. Look. Oh my gosh. I looked out the window. I was like, no, my animal spirit cards. Isn't that so weird? I was just like dumbfounded. I had no idea how it happened. It was crazy. So maybe there's going to be a bump in the road or something like that for you, group number 1, but you're in the week ahead. If there's a bump in the road, they want me to let you know not to panic, not to get ahead of yourself or overreact, but know that everything's going to be fine and it's just going to be something kind of funny later on. So that's a funny message that came through. I hope that makes sense, or maybe it'll make sense in the future. Ooh. Oh, okay. So remember how we were just talking about your golden aura? You have the golden egg. And this is all about your heart chakra. And there are very few spirit cards in this deck, and that's what this circle means, is that it's the element of spirit. So I feel like you're really dialed in this week. You're really vivacious. I can hardly even, like, I'm having a hard time getting myself to slow down when I'm talking. And Spirit's just talking about this beautiful golden energy, and it's like spiraling around your heart center, and you're just like radiating light, which is really beautiful. And something else they're mentioning for group number 1 is being aware of how much attention that will attract, and to go ahead and set boundaries now. That's just good practice in any situation, but especially when you have this really attractive golden energy. That just means, you know, have you ever had like a couple days where like everybody calls you out of the blue? Like it's kind of weird. Spirit's saying something like that will happen this week. Just because you're like, you're in it, you're in the flow, you're feeling good, and like everybody can feel it, which is really beautiful. But you just want to make sure that you are setting your boundaries to respect and protect your space. And in order for you to heed the call this week is to just embrace that energy and allow yourself to be seen. So what a beautiful message for group number 1. And a little bonus message for group number 1 with this painting. This was made with the intention to activate your root chakra. So that might be just an extra tidbit for you, and some kind of confirmation like, oh yeah, I picked the right group. Okay, so thank you so much for watching group number 1, and have a spicy, spicy week ahead, because that's totally the energy I'm feeling right now. Okay, so for group number 2, if you felt drawn to this painting with the gold and the yellow, let's see what your week ahead message is. All right, Spirit. So for group number 2, what do they need to know for their highest good for the week ahead? They're already talking about some kind of jewelry or something sparkly. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, you can hear me shuffling, right? You can hear me. I shuffle these. You have the King of Cups. Love a good King of Cups. The Hanged Man. And Judgment again. So you are also heeding the call, group number 2. Good for you. Okay. Let's see. So for this week, for group number 2, this is a really different energy. This is about taking a time out. And it may not be a timeout that you had planned. So there may be some kind of unexpected break in action where you have to take a couple days off work or something like that. But what they're saying is it's time to take a total time out and allow yourself to digest messages that are coming through, because your perspective is totally changing. What else? They're talking about the King of Cups, about specifically the chalice that he has. Okay, and they're talking about your cup, group number 2. And they're talking about sort of protecting your cup or understanding. And I hope this visual is making sense to you. It's like there's this big chalice, and that's you. That's your well of energy. and Spirit is pouring this love and light and health into it. And there's this little saucer underneath of it that catches overflow. And Spirit's pointing at this saucer and saying, this is what you can share with other people, not your cup. You don't let people drink out of your cup. When your cup overflows, then you can share. So I feel like this timeout might be a result of really working yourself to the bone, or just being really, really tired and really, really stressed to the point where you feel like you're going to break, but you're not. There's going to be this opportunity to take a timeout and a pause for some time for yourself to recover, which is really great. And for heeding the call, let's see what your animal spirit cards are, group number 2. They also just said the word bile. They're talking about the liver or the spleen and filtering different liquids. Let's see what these animal cards have to say. You've got a lot of yellow up in here. Okay, you've got the beaver spirit. Love to see him. And earthworm. Okay, so the beaver spirit is someone who works really, really hard and is really dependable and really, really pleasant. Like, everybody loves a beaver spirit. And so group number 2, I feel like this has to do with your work, because the earthworm is about keeping your gifts to yourself, because maybe you're being asked to do something that you feel inexperienced with. And you might be second guessing yourself, like, well, I don't really know if my comments are going to make much of a difference. But Spirit's saying, yes, they will. Go ahead and unfurl and allow that to shine through. Do you see how all that's turned in on itself, but all these beautiful colors are in here? So that's what your message is as far as heeding the call, is being brave enough to speak up and share your ideas, even if it feels like scary, or it feels like maybe too soon or something. So I hope that's making sense for you, group number 2. Maybe you're wanting to have a conversation with someone at work, but you're thinking, oh, I don't know when the best time would be to have that conversation is. And Spirit's saying, within the next week, it'll be time. And in the meantime, so you'll feel it in your gut. You'll feel it in your gut when it's the right time to come out with this information. And in the meantime, Spirit's saying, just keep being your busy, beautiful self, because you are, in case you don't know this, group number 2, you are such a pleasure to be around. And especially people who work with you or do the same things as you, like your peers, really enjoy your company and feel you're a person who you don't really have to even do or say anything, but if you're just in the room with everybody just feels better. You know what I mean? Like, you bring that powerhouse energy of just like, everything's okay. I'm here to help you handle things. So thank you, group number 2. What a beautiful energy to share with everybody. All right, so that is Spirit saying that's your spirit assignment, is to just show up and be there until you get that pang in your gut. And they're saying specifically your gut, specifically your 3rd chakra, the solar plexus. When you get that feeling, you will know, okay, it's time for me to express myself and put my ideas out there, even if it's a little scary. That's heeding the call. That's part of it, is sharing your inspiration, which is really beautiful. All right, group number 2, that was your healing message. I hope that resonated, and this is all about the 3rd chakra. And I will see you next time. Okay, group number 3. If you were drawn to this 3rd and final painting, let's get your week ahead message. Okay. All right, group number 3. What does group number 3 need to hear for their week ahead? Oh, I thought something flipped over there, but it didn't. Okay, there's one. Let's get you 2 more. Okay. All right, so for group number 3, you've got the Page of Swords, Temperance, which is a Sagittarius card. You could have Sagittarius in your Sun, Moon, or Rising, your big 3. And then we have the Two of Wands. For some reason, there we go. Okay. Let's see group number 2. So they're talking about a balance between planning ahead for something and talking through your ideas. And right now it feels like those are 2 really separate categories. So if there's something that you're planning for, it's almost like the planning part is so stressful that these ideas that you have separately, maybe different times throughout the day, you get these different ideas. It's almost like it's so stressful that you can't even really think about these other ideas that are coming to you. And they're saying that's divine inspiration, that the ideas are coming in. And then Spirit's saying it's like a give and take of both of those. And they're talking about like an energy style. So if you are planning for something, group number 3, they're saying it's okay, even if you block out, okay, I'm going to work on this from 3:30 to 5:30. Maybe you're unable to focus for some reason. And Spirit's saying that's okay, that sometimes energy comes in spurts, like in bursts. And with this divine inspiration that's kind of like following you around, they really want you to record that when it's happening. So a couple of different ways you can do that. They're showing me a little notebook that you could write in. And they want me to talk about how I do on my phone. I will voice record. So I'll just push record and start talking and just save it like that. Because, you know, sometimes if you're in the car, you can just like pull over or park on your way to get groceries and go, oh, I just thought of this. Let me go ahead and record this. And Spirit's saying do that because we're giving you inspiration, and it's coming through almost like they're showing me this really beautiful visual of dappled sunlight through trees. So it's like this little painted speckled forest floor, which is really beautiful. And they're saying it just comes in sporadically, and know that, you know, that doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It's just coming in that way. It's just coming in bits and pieces to help you better understand. And I feel like what you're planning for is something that's a pretty big deal and that involves your life purpose. So even though you don't have the Heed the Call card, this painting in and of itself is like, this is like a life purpose painting. So this is the Heed the Call painting. So they also want to talk about getting those ideas down. There must be some really big block that you're dealing with, group number 3, because they're giving all these examples of different ways you could get the ideas out. Rather than writing, typing, or speaking, you could make a vision board. Or you don't even have to do this physically if for some reason that seems like too much. You can go to Pinterest and just pin like different pictures. And then you can put a private comment on there. So it's like a way to manifest that's eco-friendly and super easy. So they wanted to bring that up too. Okay, group number 2. I keep wanting to get your other cards, and they're like, and this, and this, and this. I feel like you also have, some divine energy around you, group number 2. So maybe you've been talking to a particular angel. They want you to know that they are there, they hear you. And I feel like your third eye is like really on fire right now, which is awesome. And that makes sense that messages come in sporadically, because if your third eye is just like lit all the time, sometimes you just can't help it. Even if you say, okay, Spirit, we're going to talk at this time of the day, sometimes the messages just come anyway. And as long as that's not like stressful or interrupting your life in a negative way, Spirit's saying that's totally fine. Okay. And group number 3, wow. Okay, you got the Cosmic Egg. This is the last card in this entire deck. It's a really powerful one. And talk about another powerhouse, you got the Horse. Wow. Oh, look at this. I told you your third eye was on fire. Awesome. Okay. So for the Cosmic Egg, that symbolizes some sort of completion. And it is the element of spirit. So what they said earlier about your life purpose really makes sense. Like something is finally being attended to. Something is finally playing out and being planned. And Spirit is really, really excited about it. But they don't want you to feel overwhelmed by the energy that's around it. Because, and especially, this is good to know, group number 3, especially if you're working with angels on a regular basis, they are like a powerhouse of energy. It's like, whoa. And if they're just popping in and out, it can be like really almost distracting, but that's not quite the right word. Hashtag Mercury retrograde. But sometimes it's a lot. And Spirit just wants you to know that they're just really, really excited for whatever you're planning. They're excited that you are heeding the call and that you're taking the next step. And they're right there supporting you through the whole process. And with the Horse, typically this would symbolize freedom for me, but they're talking about some other meanings with the Horse. So let me see what they're saying. They're talking about not being afraid to flick away flies when you need to. So there might be some, oh my gosh, okay. One of my spirit guides has a really interesting sense of humor. And he just said, don't be afraid to swat away any naysayers. And then just looked at me like, so they also want to let you know to have a sense of humor moving forward in the week ahead. I feel a real need to just loosen up and allow yourself to laugh and make jokes. So you must have been feeling really overwhelmed about this, group number 3. Let's see. And then they're also talking about home and family and nostalgia in a good way. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, group number 3, there's someone that either is a family member or feels like family that would love to help you and who thinks about you often. So if you're feeling just super overwhelmed, like I'm trying to plan this next step in my life, maybe you're opening a business or planning a huge trip somewhere abroad, and you're like, but it's just freaking me out for some reason and I don't know what to do. Spirit's saying just text them, just call them, because they're already thinking of you. This person that's coming to your mind right now, they're already thinking of you and they want to help you. And this person, this support system, this person in particular may have a funny energy. They may make jokes as well. But yeah, again, they're saying with the flies and the Horse, don't be afraid to just flick things off like, no, that's not important right now. We're not going to deal with that right now. But in a way that's not like, it's like sassy, but not bitchy. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? To just flick it away. You know, if little things, little interruptions come up, bubble up, Spirit's like, it's not a big deal. It's just a way to reaffirm to yourself, I'm committed to myself, I'm committed to my path, and we are going to move forward at full force. And I'm not going to let these distractions get in the way. I got my blinders on, and we're going forward. So, group number 2, that was a really exciting message. I don't know what's happening with you in your life right now, but there's going to be some big step in the next week towards fulfilling a life purpose, which again is a big deal. It could be business, it could be something really spiritual, some kind of forward movement on something that you've been thinking that you should start. It sounds like you and Spirit are about to start it, and that is really, really exciting. So if you chose this painting, again, this is the Life Purpose painting. We've got some gold in there as well. So I hope that resonated. Group number 3, there's something else. Hold on. They're also talking about, again, the third eye is really lit, but also your heart chakra is going to be opening up big time this week, which is really beautiful. So they want you to receive it and embrace it for yourself. So checking in, Tiffany says, love hearing that. Awesome. Lola was in group number 2. Love that. And Dawn says, oh gosh, what does she say? Very cheeky today. Oh, you must have been group number 1. Oh, Janice says you're absolutely glowing. Thank you so much. It's always spirit, but channeling spirit messages and spirit energy is just an absolute honor. And I'm so glad and excited that you all showed up with me here today. Again, if you have any questions or if anything else comes up in the week ahead, I'd love to hear it. So drop it down in the comments below. Sometimes Spirit likes to do some messages in post. So I am sending you so much love and light and hope you have a great week ahead. Take care.